It's fair to say that the big bads we've come to know and love don't really induce that instant vomit, crap your pants, cry until the sweet release of daylight fear that they used to. Whilst new and interesting creatures can try and fill the hole left behind, the attempts to get scarier with each new horror release only serve to remind us of what we've lost. More often than not, there's even an exacting, precise moment that can be pinpointed where our favourite horror icons are transformed from Pennywises right into Ronald McDonald's, doomed to feasting on chicken nuggets rather than sinners' souls. Rest in peace, monsters of old, as these are the moments that buried you for the last time. I'm Ash from What Culture, and these are 7 precise moments that horror icons stop being scary. 7. Friday the 13th. Jason Voorhees' swagger-filled kill. Jason's run in Friday the 13th Part 3 is the one that defined him as the horror icon we now know and love, coming to find his beloved hockey mask and commit the rest to grisly horror movie history. It's also the movie that set up an interesting division between scary Jason and slightly ridiculous Jason, paralleling his ominous presence with him literally crushing heads until eyeballs fly out. Vera's spear death can be argued to be one such point of division, when Jason sneaks up on her and shoots her with a harpoon from behind a lamppost, no-scoping the ever-loving crap out of her unsuspecting face. His strange stance lurking behind the pole that we can clearly see him behind, and the nonchalant way he swaggers off afterwards, is arguably enough to break the tension for just a moment to reassess how scary this villain really is. The decline into ridiculousness only got more intense from here, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, to be fair. 6. The Blair Witch Project. Seeing the Witch. Blair Witch is the film that gives the titular baddie a physical form in the woods, which is a risky move. Unlike other horror films though, it never reveals too much, showing a stretchy-limbed pasty woman running about just off screen instead of anything substantial. In giving the previously invisible monster a presence at all, however, it creates a glass ceiling for just how scary the film can be. Horror really has a thing for white-skinned, long people. Apply any other film that shows a little too much in bad CGI or misapplied makeup to our forest-dwelling monster, and the Blair Witch shoots itself in the weirdly elongated foot. 5. Halloween. Every other slasher movie ever. And his mask. The original film is one that stopped first viewers from sleeping, ingraining terror at the thought of a merciless intruder breaking into their house. But how many times have we seen this since? The one thing to Halloween's detriment is the sheer amount of copycat narratives it spawned, making any sort of attempt to watch it now fall flat in comparison to 1978's intense, gory thriller. It doesn't hold up anymore as it's become a cliche, but at least it was for the solid reason that the first film defined the cliche itself. To be honest, learning that Michael Myers' mask is actually a William Shatner face also ruins any scariness in the moment. 4. A Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy Krueger, the catchphrase king. Starting out as a genuinely terrifying, burned monster that skulks through the dream world, Freddy had both an original premise and a definitive look, both of which served to make him scarier than most. 1984's A Nightmare on Elm Street was the birth of something truly special for horror, and A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, was the death of it. Choosing to pursue a much more comedic slasher villain, Freddy became a wisecracking master of the one-liner, dropping both painful and hilarious puns at every opportunity.
You've got the body, I've got the brain.
After the release of Freddy's Revenge, the nightmare-dwelling monster didn't seem so bad. At least you get a good laugh before he slices your face off. 3. Hellraiser. Making Pinhead human. Clive Barker's Pinhead is one of the most original horror movie monsters we've had on screen, with the director serving up a batshit crazy creature from another dimension obsessed with BDSM. In the first Hellraiser movie, his ominous, gentlemanly presence was absolutely unsettling, Pinhead being the leader of a group of Cenobites who follow his dimension-exploring antics in pursuit of carnal experiences. However, in Hellbound, it was decided to make these sex deviants originally human in nature, removing all supernatural and demonic assumptions attached to the characters. Whilst in films this works for realism, humanising these creatures made the Hellraiser series far less impactful, explaining away all mystery and intrigue that surrounded the original creatures. 2. Aliens. Thinning out the Horde. Originating as a tense, gritty little horror movie that pitted an unknowable and almost unkillable enemy against a practically defenseless spaceship crew, 1979's Alien was an exercise in creepy extraterrestrial horror unlike anything ever seen before. James Cameron's Aliens took the formula and ran with it, transforming the skulking xenomorph into an army of angry bean-headed monsters, and whilst a truly excellent film, it can't be denied that it kills the scariness intrinsic to the titular character. By seeing the creature from the first movie mass-produced and easily taken down by the colonial marines, we not only witness way more of the aliens than we've ever seen before, but how simple they are to kill. Take a flamethrower to the nest and you've got a Xeno barbecue that's good for all the family. 1. The Babadook, gay pride icon. The Babadook itself is legitimately terrifying, manipulating the darkness around it and appearing only in shadowy recesses, almost one with blackness itself. So if you dress it up in a feather boa, a few rainbows and a dash of glitter, surely you've got nothing to worry about, right? He served up some Baba looks that got us Baba shook in all the wrong but oh so right ways throughout Pride Month. Accidentally adopted as a gay icon after Netflix categorised the horror movie in their LGBTQ+ section, the outright fabulousness and flamboyancy attributed to the character is particularly heartwarming, but completely devoids him of all spookiness instantly.